Yes, Dad, this is the Briefcase Show. Hey everybody, it's Kel and Nitro, and welcome to my take of Money in the Bank 2017 from St. Louis, Missouri. It was on the WWE Network. Pre-show match had the Hype Bros reuniting, Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder versus the Cologne brothers, Primo and Epico. And I'm starting to get the feel that for the Hype Bros, this is a tag team split storyline. You kind of can gauge that. They got the win tonight, and they look like they were, a team unit and that stuff. So they might be going towards that number one contendership from tag titles. And then right when it happens, I'd like to see Mojo actually turn on Zack, other than the other way around. Zack turn on Mojo, just due to the fact that it'd be a little different for, the actual person who has the babyface that has the success to turn on the babyface that, was coming back from the feud. But we'll wait and see about that. That's my preference for that. It was passable. It was okay. Women's Money in the Bank match kicked off the show, as it was announced on the pre-show that it would be the opening match. And my concerns about it being a little dangerous were quickly put aside. The girls were working safe in that match, and snug in a few spots, but still pretty safe. It was a passable Money in the Bank match. Now, compared to the men's that was later in the night, I thought that this was a little bit of a meh pacing to it, with the men's match actually being really good for the pacing, but we'll get to that a little later on. The ending of the match, original. They're playing off the whole anything can happen in a Money in the Bank match moniker, with the no disqualification thing. I think this plants the seeds of an Ellsworth, Becky Lynch intergender thing, if not maybe a mixed tag with somebody else pulled in, with Carmella maybe at SummerSlam. I'd like to see the intergender match, just because that'd be another first, or at least a first in a long time for WWE television and pay-per-view. We will see what happens on that end. With Carmella winning the Money in the Bank, it's original, it's not bad. I think she's actually stronger with the briefcase, so it kind of gives everybody on SmackDown something to look at and keep in the back of their minds now in the women's division. So ergo, that's accomplished that. To me, passable, but really nothing special to see in that match. I know Twitter was lighting up with the result at the end of it. It's a no disqualification match. Anything can happen, so ergo, yay. Second match on the card was for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. The New Day trying to do the sweep. They were the longest reigning tag champs, and I guess they were, start to work on the opposite brand now and try to get. They had the tag champs that I guess evolved into the Raw Tag Team Championship. Now it's like, all right, see if they can get the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, as they took on the tag team champs, the Usos. And this match was the one that sent Twitter into an uproar even later in that hour. That first hour was not very good for social media people because of the ending of the match. Good match between both teams, back and forth, hard hitting, great stuff. New Day went with Kofi and Big E as their alignment for tonight, whereas, the Usos were still working pure heel throughout the match, and I thought they did an excellent job of it. They just flat out walked out for the finish. They were just like, that's it, we're done. We take the belts and we're going home. And so we'll establish that. I think this is a lot to establish right now, that the fact that SmackDown is in chaos as a show. It's not necessarily 100%, a fluid thing. There's a lot of chaos going on, and with Daniel Bryan coming back, it kind of gives him something to chew on Tuesday, character-wise, to be like, okay, this place is a wreck. This show's a mess. I gotta try and clean this up some way. Here's what we're going to do. And then we have no idea what he's going to do, which is the great part about it, which is the hook that's supposed to keep you from, changing channels and that stuff. So Not a great first hour at all of the pay-per-view. It was very a mixture between snoozy to meh in my books, but it picked up a little later on, definitely. The women's title match between Lana and Naomi was okay. Lana's gotten a lot better in the ring since we've seen her at WrestleMania 2 years ago now, 2016 in Dallas in that Ted Man. And the work in NXT, you can tell, is a little bit showy there. She's not quite there yet. You can tell that she was really still kind of awkward in the ring a few times and that stuff. Maybe was on purpose. Maybe it was just, her lack of experience. Either way. The match went through as it should, and Naomi hooked in her submission finisher for the win, but not before Carmella's music hit and she walked out, and she teased like she was cashing in during the match, but then thought better of it. And that's it. And I think that'll be her MO for the next few weeks, maybe leading up to SummerSlam, maybe even after, who knows, however long she's got that briefcase. That will be her MO. Just kind of deceptively walk out. I'm going to tease. I'm going to maybe cash it in, and then maybe not. So Naomi retains, and yeah, it's a thing. It happened. We had a Fashion Police vignette that led to a special added attraction match later on in the night, where they popped in a VHS tape that was not Coliseum, by the way. But it went into the little TV VCR thing from 1990, whatever, and they saw two shadowy figures with a blue background talking about Tulsa in 1986. No, it wasn't talking about Tulsa in 1986. It was two rather large gentlemen who were the Ascension, but we were supposed to be surprised when the Ascension walked out. Pretty much, those segments are for the background gags in the background. It's kind of like the couch gags on The Simpsons. It's always fun to see. The cell phone that Fandango was talking to on tonight, property of Paul E, was actually quite classic. It was really good. Good little shot and a homage to the Dangerous One, Paul E. Dangerously. I liked it. It was funny. Then we got a very cheesy 1980s, almost teen dream movie of the week type ballad and Hearts on the Titantron, and then walked out the former Miracle, now known simply as Mike Kanellis, and his wife, Maria Kanellis. She dropped the Bennett. It's just Maria Kanellis now in WWE. Great signing by WWE to bring these guys in. I've been a fan of Mike Bennett since the Ring of Honor days on HDNet. I remember his pairing with Brutal Bob Evans and how they were bringing him up. And the guy's got talent. It's just, at times, he's been paired with guys that make him look really boring in the ring. And I think with the SmackDown roster, if they got him in as a mid-card heel right now, I think the mixture of guys will prevent him from being boring in the ring. It just remains to be seen whether that equates out or not, if that makes any sense. Maria back in the WWE is a good thing. I enjoyed her the first run. I've actually enjoyed their Impact Wrestling stuff during the Final Deletion stuff. But I guess my question is to Impact Wrestling, who do you got left over there? Everybody seems to be jumping ship again. And with New Japan coming over at the end of the month here, they might be at the very back of the bus, by where the kids' emergency exit is when it comes to ranking 1, 2, 3, 4 in North America when it comes to wrestling here. So he's not good for the Owl, but good for SmackDown Live. Hey, and the theme, it took me a while to warm up to. It actually took me a long time to warm up to Nakamura's entrance music. So, it might rub off on me here later. But I thought hey, 1980s end sequence in a romantic comedy or something. Also was discussing on Twitter why a lot of people were wondering why Mike Bennett went with Mike Kanellis as his ring name for WWE. I think it's a heat-getting technique because, especially in the United States, it's very uncommon for the man to take the woman's name in a marriage. If anything, the woman has to take, or not has to take, but it's kind of traditional that the woman takes the man's last name in marriage. Or they hyphenate it with some sort of, blank blank, etc. So I know, especially in the southern states, it's very frowned upon. It's almost like blasphemy, Bible burning that a man takes a woman's last name in marriage. So I think it's a heat-getting technique for older viewers and that stuff. And Bennett looks like a hipster, which will work great as a heel because he's got the man bun, he's got the hot wife and whatever. It's not a trophy wife scenario. It's going to be, these are two people that love each other, and single people who watch wrestling for the most part hate that. So I think that the sky's the limit for those two for sure. It's great to see them in the WWE. We had a full Legends Row that was introduced to us prior to the WWE Championship match, which included Bob Orton, Cowboy Bob Orton, Sergeant Slaughter was there, the Baron and the Claw, which I popped for, Greg Gagne, Larry the Accenting. There's a whole swag of guys who were significant to St. Louis wrestling, and they do this sometimes pretty much just to get one of the legends over in the segment. It was good foreshadowing that Bob Orton's dad is sitting ringside with his friends and that stuff at the behest of Randy Orton. Like, it was the invite, I should say, that Randy Orton wanted both those guys in there, specifically Flair and his dad, to sit ringside. And again, like a good book, good foreshadowing of what was to come. WWE Championship match, Jinder Mahal, the champion, versus Randy Orton, the challenger in this one. So this is the rematch from Backlash. And I thought this match was better than the Backlash match, in my opinion. It was a good back and forth match. Orton teasing the RKO several times, especially very early on in the match, almost about 20 seconds in or so. And the Singh brothers doing a great job as heels outside the ring. Just the flow of the match was bam, 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 bam. Loved it. Not a huge fan of the Singh brothers taking those bumps on the table, though. It looks like they're going to fold up in half every time they hit the table. Watch their spines just like that. But that's the effect, so there we go. Jinder retains. The Singhs beat up. Well, they didn't really beat up. They grabbed Bob Orton Sr. on the ringside there, where he and the other legends were sitting after they were tossed from the match. And Orton comes out, and then that's a rookie mistake. Like, if you haven't seen Talking Smack for this show, the post show after this pay-per-view, you should go check it out. There's a lot of great points that Jinder made in his interview with Renee Young and Booker T during that show that kind of helps understand the match a little bit more, what happened, and then the eventual confrontation with the eventual Money in the Bank winner, which I will get to a little bit later on. But great match. I thought it was better than their Backlash match, and Jinder retains. We're not going to hinder Jinder up here. Don't hinder Jinder. Jinder's our guy up here. Good Alberta dude. Then the added attraction tag match between the Fashion Police and the Ascension. Fashion Police get the win. There are not really that many comedy spots in this match. It was just a straight ahead match. I think they just wanted to add it just to stretch time and have it be a momentum killer, or not a momentum killer, but just in the dead spot after the big momentum boost after the WWE title match. And between that, and you don't want to go big, huge high and then go right into the Money in the Bank match because your fans are going to be burnt out. So you just want to simmer it down a little bit and then slowly rise back up for Money in the Bank. So it accomplished what it accomplished. Nothing special. Money in the Bank match. The during introductions, when Nakamura's music was playing, he got sneak attacked on the ramp by Baron Corbin, and Corbin assaulted him with a camera, and I can't remember with what else, but it put Nakamura out of the first half of the match pretty well. And Corbin went in there and proceeded to... He wasn't necessarily a wrecking ball. There was a few other guys that were in there. AJ had a really good showing during that match, with the exception of the spot where Ziggler took the ladder away from him and AJ was dangling from the briefcase, top of the ladder, and then decided to play bug hitting windshield as he hit the mat. It was like that. And I fear for the guy's safety taking that bump, but I had mentioned on Twitter, I guess all those Ultimate X matches may have accounted for something, because, you know, dude at least sort of kind of knows how to bump from that type of distance, but it still looked like he murdered his shoulder pretty good, so I hope he's okay off that. Like, legit, that was ugly. And as Corbin decides to get the ladder up and get ready to go up to grab the Money in the Bank briefcase, that marked approximately the point where Nakamura came out, played the music and everything, and the crowd, just with him, there's almost not a need to play the music because the crowd will chant the music when they see him, so there you go. But hey, great cue, popped out, and then Nakamura, House of Fire all throughout the ring, and then we get a teaser that, because they're on the same brand now, they're looking at this as a serious thing in the future, probably to headline a Big Four. Nakamura, AJ Styles. We finally get the rematch from the match of the year in 2016 at Wrestle Kingdom for New Japan. And you know what? It'll be very interesting to see when and where and how that develops and how that takes place. But I think they're probably going to move Nakamura next into a program with Corbin, the way Corbin dispatched Nakamura at the beginning of this match and the conflict they had during it. Baron Corbin ends up winning the Money in the Bank, and then on Talking Smack right afterwards, confronts Jinder Mahal after his interview, and they have a quick little stare down and that stuff. And you can see the Twitter timeline just all of a sudden just blow up when that happened, with guys like, oh my god, this is actually going to be a great match and that stuff. You know, that might be SmackDown's answer to what's going on Raw with Joe and Lesnar at the pay-per-view with the 50s theme that I don't like to mention the name of. And it might happen that way, just as an arms race type deal where, okay, we're doing this on this brand, so we got to do this on the other brand as well. Let's get two hosses that, regardless of allegiances, can just go head on with each other. But, you know, that's the thing, is that Corbin, the times that the Money in the Bank winner has announced that he's actually going for the Money in the Bank, like the week or 2 weeks before, hasn't really worked very well. I remember one instance where Cena announced it, I think, to go against Punk. It was for the 1000th episode of Raw, I think it was. And just, it was a throwaway. It was just like, okay, well, crumple that up and send it off, right? This year, if they plan this out right, both Corbin and Carmella, who are the two briefcase holders on SmackDown, can have some fun with this, and the writers can have some fun with this, and just, you know, keep teasing the fans once in a while that, hey, they have this. Watch out, champions. These people are looking over your shoulder. All in all, I thought it was a very enjoyable night of wrestling. The first and second hours, though, were just very kind of, really? They're going that route? But the ladder match at the end brought it up to above average rating for me. I was quite entertained over the 3 hours just to see what they were doing, that's all. And not screaming for my money back or anything like that. So I have the show link on Twitter. If you want to check it out, just go back through the tweets. It's somewhere in the timeline. But anyways, I'm Kel on Nitro. I'll talk to you, I guess July 9th will be the next one. And where we do WWE Great Balls of Fire. They're really really, but the main event's awesome. So looking forward to that main event between Brock and Joe and talking to you guys about it. Subscribe if you haven't. Tell everybody about Nitromaniac TV and spread the links around. We're also today on Tiny URL. I got a Tiny URL done. Try saying that. But Tiny URL is what I'm trying to say. So go to tinyurl.com/Nitromaniac TV to spread this link around. And it's a little bit easier, and it helps me out because I need 100 subs to get the custom YouTube URL, which I obviously don't have with this channel yet. So we'll use the Tiny URL for all the marketing and such for the time being. And yeah, we'll see you guys later. I've talked too long. Take care, guys. Later day.